Hi everyone. My slipper's falling off. Slightly different setup today. Why? I don't know. I'm just sick to death of filming in that corner. So just for this one, we're filming here. And does that bother you that I'm not centered? Doesn't really bother me, but anyway, hello. Today we are going to be talking about how to read more, and this isn't going to be like the be-all end-all of how to read more, but these are just some quick tips, and I hope to touch on like where I read, how I get my books, how I focus, stuff like that. First and foremost, I just kind of want to throw this out there. How do I start this? Before I started BookTube, I had no concept of the fact that people really cared about the number of books that they hit, the number of pages they hit per year or per month or however they like to count it. I just want to put it out there that goals are good. If you are a goal person and you love, like, man, I'm gonna read 50 books this year, and then you read 50 books and you feel great, awesome. But if you watch BookTube and you feel pressure to keep up with other readers, don't do that, because just don't. It's bad news. Read because you love reading. Like, reading is literally either fun or educational, and neither one of those should be a race with, especially like strangers online. If you feel pressured by anybody on social media or people in your life to read more, I hope it's more of an inspiration and not like you feel bad about it, because you really shouldn't. This is like a very long intro, but if you clicked this, how to read more, in order to like keep up with people, don't. I'm only talking to the people who are feeling the crippling weight of knowledge that there are so many books to be read and there's just not enough time to read them all. Read as much as you can with as much time as you've got. That's what we're talking about today. Yeah, that's just my little peer pressure spiel. Reading is only for you. Those words and those worlds live in your brain alone. Read how much, whatever you want. Yes. What's my next topic? Access. All right, how do I get my books? So I'm in a semi-unique situation, I guess, where I am an English speaker. The languages in which I speak, I am only comfortable reading in English, but I live in Korea, where most of the books are printed in Korean. And so as far as physical book accessibility, we either have to buy online and wait or pay a lot for shipping, or the bookstores here tend to be, first of all, like the independent small bookstores tend to only focus on Korean, and then the bigger bookstores tend to only have like either classics or best sellers. There are very few used bookstores here. Actually, one of my favorites just like closed with no notice, which is a bummer. But so for me, accessing physical books is very difficult. So luckily, a couple years ago, I actually won this iPad in a contest. And so that's the only reason why I use an iPad versus anything else, any other kind of e-reader. It's simply because it was free. And we love it. And so how do I access my books? Do I buy my books? I don't have a whole lot of money, etc. These two apps you're so sick of hearing about, but we're gonna talk about them. Libby and Overdrive. So these are both, they're actually from the same company. Overdrive kind of owns Libby. And these are digital libraries. So they have ebooks and they have audiobooks. And you can use, I know that other countries have them, but I don't know how many. But for the United States, certainly you can use your city and your county library card. So that's how I have access to both Libby and Overdrive, is because I have two different library cards. And in the time of Corona, I'm pretty sure most libraries are offering, you can sign up for a library card digitally. So check your local library's website, and hopefully if you don't have a library card yet, you can apply for one, and you should get one anyway, because libraries are great and you should support them. And I'm pretty sure, you'll have to ask my mom about this one, but if you are still in school, I know that some schools are gaining access to an e-library as well. So if you are in especially middle school or high school, check and see if you have access to any digital library resources as well, since I know that we aren't really going in and out of libraries at the moment. Libby and Overdrive are completely free. It works exactly as a library would. You can put books on hold. You can request books if they don't have them. You can request them and then you will be first on the holds list, which I do for all the books that are coming out in 2021 and my library hasn't bought them yet. I'm already on the holds list, suckers. Try and beat me to them. You can't. I'm so excited. I'm on a roll. I'm ready for 2021 reading. Anyway, so yeah, both Overdrive and Libby have changed the way that I read because I can read so much more. I can take risks, you know, like when you're at a bookstore and you have to pay for a book, you better know that you're gonna like that book. So with Libby, I've been able to just try so many different books. Like even if I'm like, I don't really know how I feel about that one, I'll borrow it, and if I don't like it within the 14 days, oh well. If you can access Libby and Overdrive, definitely try to do that. Another one that I've heard, I haven't used this, but other people have recommended Hoopla, and I believe that is only for audiobook. Also, if you're interested in reading, especially the classics, those are usually free. So if you go on like Google eBooks, or I believe Audible has a few free ones. Project Gutenberg has a bunch, and there's one more that I'm forgetting that I will leave down below. But typically, and definitely Kindle as well has a bunch of free books. Definitely check if you're interested in starting the classics. I know that usually one or two Jane Austens, one or two Charles Dickens, they're usually free. Personally, that is how I read. You can also check websites like Thrift Books. Those are used books that ship, I believe Thrift Books ships internationally. You do want to actually buy the physical book, but you want it at a cheaper price. Definitely shop around. It is not just Amazon, that kind of thing. And if you can also, please support your local bookstores right now. I know that most of the places on earth, you can't physically go in and shop, but my mom was telling me that she basically could order the books and they would bring them to the door. So if you know of any of your small local shops, definitely check, like just give them a call or check their Instagram or whatever they have and see if they are offering that option, and you can just kind of drive by and safely, social distancingly pick up the books because they definitely need your help. And as far as getting books for free, like illegally, I understand that it's really difficult to get books, but if at all possible, I really just don't support it. I had a couple people send me places where you can download like PDF versions of books for free, but I'm just not comfortable sharing those because I'm just not comfortable sharing those. But you know, I know that everybody has a different situation, especially if you're reading in languages where it's very difficult to gain copies of books that you can read. You know, do what you gotta do. Reading is great. I'm sure most authors would honestly just like you to read their books in any way possible. So yeah, like I said, do what you gotta do, but just for this video, I will not be promoting those options. Next, focusing. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's talk about this. So this is an issue that the entire world is suffering from in every way. It's not just about reading. Our lack of ability to focus. I bet you guys have already skipped through this video. If you're watching this on 1.5 or 2 times speed, I understand, skip through me, it's fine. But with reading, that's so annoying. Like I still do it to this day. Like I'll be reading and then I'll just pick up my phone. Why? I end a chapter and even though I'm interested in the next chapter, I put my book down and I pick up my phone and I scroll and there's no reason. It's not like I got a notification. I have all my notifications off, by the way. So let's talk about how I practice getting better at that. I have gotten a lot better and it literally is just practice, which is annoying. First and foremost, do not have your phone near you. You should already have all your notifications off. anyway. For any kind of social media, I usually try and put my phone way far away. But another thing that really helps is an app that I've talked about before called Forest. And as far as I know, it's free, but if it isn't, I'm so sorry, it was free. It might be 99 cents now. Forest is a focusing app, and I believe there are others like it. This is just the one that I use, but you basically set a timer, and it's anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours, 120 minutes. And while you set that timer, you have a little tree that is growing. And if you access your phone during that timer, your tree dies. So you have this little forest that you can grow, and I have so many trees. I haven't spent any money on it. I have done it all by just collecting coins the natural way. But yeah, I have a bunch of trees, and I'm really excited about my forest. But you get dead trees in your forest if you mess up the timer. So that's a really great way to practice it. I literally just set, usually I use 20 minutes. I'll set a 20-minute timer, put my phone away, and then by the time I check my phone, like once I get into reading, it's usually been way past 20 minutes because I haven't broken concentration. I've just been reading. Also, there are just some books that don't really hold your attention, and that's just the thing you've got to deal with. And another thing that really, really helps is picking out a specific time and place. So for me, I have a rocking chair, which is where I like to read like during the day, during the sunset, because that's kind of where the last of the natural light goes in my house. And then any other time, I am curled up right in the corner of my couch, right by my lamp, getting ample light, you know, cozy. And then of course I read in bed. So I have these 3 designated places, pretty much like my day, evening, and night spot. I sound crazy, but it works. Having a place where you sit down and you know that that's where you're gonna read. You're gonna get cozy, it's gonna be nice. It's similar to having a workspace, like a designated workspace in your house, helps you be a little bit more productive when you're sitting down to work rather than just like working in bed. Same deal with reading. Pick a place that's really nice. Also, recognizing what times you focus best. So for me, in the morning, I hate reading. Like, it's very rare that I can wake up and first thing, like, you know, brush my teeth, make tea, whatever, and then read. I will sit down, start reading, and then I'll think about all the things I need to do for the rest of the day. So for me, unless it's a like 100% chill day, I can't read in the morning. My main reading time is usually after lunch, as close to evening as possible. If I go to a cafe, if I'm in like a different place, then I can usually read earlier. But if I'm in my home, I gotta do it like after 2 p.m. I would say is like reading time, 2 to midnight. That's like the open reading season, you know. And honestly, that's kind of it. It literally, for me, just takes a lot of practice. Some days are worse than others. It also just depends on how much the plot really grabs you. If you're like really like genuinely frustrated to the point where you almost don't enjoy reading anymore, try to let it go, you know? So, sometimes books, they need more time to digest. Sometimes you need to just step away for a little bit. Reading should be enjoyable as possible. So don't stress, don't stress. And another question I get a lot that I honestly, in this video, I'm not sure if I can answer because I haven't really thought about it that deeply, which I should have, but how do I find the books that I want to read? So first and foremost, a lot of it just comes from you guys in the comment section. When I first was kind of getting back into reading, I returned to the books that I knew that I liked. So I knew I liked Agatha Christie, and then I forget how I found it, but I started reading Tana French. You know, it kind of expanded from there. But now, honestly, a lot of it comes from BookTube, or more importantly, Bookstagram. I have a separate Instagram for my books. I don't tend to post a lot, but I do tend to find a lot of really good information on Bookstagram. They make a lot of listicles, especially when it comes to reading more diversely. People are doing amazing things on Bookstagram. I literally just screenshot and save so many things. So that is a really great resource. And with Instagram, once you kind of follow a couple people, you tend to it just gets better. In the Bookstagram world, I wouldn't say with any other thing. Instagram's kind of ugh. But yeah, I definitely would recommend, if you aren't already, check out Bookstagram. Check the people that I follow. You don't have to check me out because I don't do much. But the people that I follow have just led me down some really great paths. So yeah, I would say Bookstagram. Goodreads, not so much. The Storygraph, I'm trying to use it more because I believe it just fully launched. It is no longer beta, but I honestly haven't had time to look at it that much. I haven't been using Goodreads in a while either, especially this year. I mentioned earlier that I've been kind of playing catch up, just trying to read all the YA fantasy that I missed when I was a young adult. So it's been kind of easy because once you read one and you look up somebody talking about it, they're gonna mention like 5 other YA fantasy things. So if you're in the YA fantasy genre, it's fine. I'm with you. 2021, I'm curious as to how I will find other things. So we'll be on that journey together, and I hope that some of the things I recommend can send you down a couple good reading rabbit holes. But yeah, I hope that this was a helpful video for you. And I believe, this is a side note, if you don't have an e-reader, I am 90% sure that Kindle does have like a desktop app. If you do have at least access to a computer or something like that, there's definitely an app if you're okay to read on your phone. For me, reading on my phone is really hard, so if you would prefer a bigger screen, I believe that Kindle has a desktop app. So you will be able, if you use Overdrive, you can access those books via Kindle, and you can use the Kindle desktop app. But yeah, Libby and Overdrive, I forgot to mention, are completely available for smartphones, not just e-readers. So, sorry, miscombobulated, discombobulated? So I'm gonna leave you here. I hope that no matter how much you read in 2021, I hope that you find just at least one book that you absolutely love and changes your life, and I don't know, sends you into a weird freaking world. I feel like even just now, I've only read 2 books this year, but I've already dealt with pirates and aliens, and yeah, it's been weird. 2021, off to a good start. I will have a monthly wrap-up coming for you at the end of January. So anyway, I'm actually gonna go back to reading. Wouldn't you know? Speaking of, hold on, I'll just show you on my Overdrive right now. So if you don't know Christy Ann Jones, I've loved her for years. She is a writer, an incredible reader, and she posted her favorite books of 2020, I believe. So I just got Sweet Bean Paste, which she recommended, and I have that on my Kindle. And I also literally today just got Earthlings from Sayaka Murata, and I read Convenience Store Woman in 2020, so I'm excited to read Earthling. This is all my Kindle, and these most of them I can't access anymore because they're from the library. So they sit here, sadly, and I cannot open them. I hope that this helped, and I hope that you have a wonderful reading year. I hope you had a wonderful reading year in 2020. And yeah, let me know down below if you have other recommendations for places you can get books, as well as tips for focusing. So, I will see you in the next one. Thank you for joining me. Bye.